Today, the Counter-Strike community has been shaken up like never before in recent years. The developers have added the ability to craft knives from covered skins, and yes, that's the most important update of the day. This news has already caused a massive stir, and today we're going to craft not one but two knives ourselves, and of course we'll take a look at the update itself. Drop a like right now and let's begin. Normally I'd start this video with the list of changes as I usually do, and in fact there are some genuinely good things in this update along with the very controversial knife crafting feature, but let's be honest, who really cares about the rest of the patch notes? Still, let's not break tradition completely. The developers did add a brand new mode called Retake, which you can now officially try on a wide range of maps. Here's what it looks like. Before each round, you can pick a loadout specifically for the Retake scenario. The match itself doesn't feature 5 players per side, the number is reduced to simulate post-planned situations from regular competitive matches. So now this is the same Retake mode you used to play on community servers, only now it's officially part of Counter-Strike, which is great news. Interestingly, the files for this Retake mode had actually been sitting in the game for many years already, but we won't dwell on the rest of the patch details. Let's get straight to the fun part. Everything started on the night of October 22nd to 23rd, when the developers released an update allowing you to literally craft knives and gloves from covered items. What's even more curious is that you only need 5 covered skins in a Tradeup contract instead of the usual 10, a rather strange decision, but things got even weirder. Right after the update came out, the knives and gloves you crafted couldn't be sold or traded at all. They were stuck in your inventory permanently, but if I'm not mistaken, within about an hour another mini update dropped, one that finally allowed you to sell those knives, and that's when everything exploded. Players started buying covered skins in huge quantities from the Steam market and third-party sites, to the point where some of those sites outright crashed. Prices for covered skins skyrocketed several times over. For example, this AK-47's price jumped 5-fold right after the update, and it's not showing any sign of dropping. The only covered skins that didn't go up in price were from collections that contain knives nobody really cares about, like this otherwise nice AK, whose price stayed exactly the same since it's from the Falchion collection, which only drops Falchion knives, and let's be honest, nobody's rushing to spend big money on those. Many people began commenting on this update. For example, Gabe theorized that since the developers have now introduced a new way to obtain gold tier items, meaning knives and gloves, they might eventually be planning to remove cases from the game altogether. Skin trading in Counter-Strike 2 was seen as one of the most stable markets out there, more stable even than some real-world investments. But Valve decided to shake things up, causing a sudden drop in knife prices. Yes, most of what I'm saying you've probably already heard elsewhere, but knives really did crash in value since players were suddenly crafting them in bulk while long-time knife owners started panic selling theirs. For example, my legendary Karambit Ultraviolet dropped to half of its previous price. Even the cheapest knives on the market are now going for roughly half of what they cost before this update. Whether that's good or bad, that's not for me to decide. Obviously, people who owned expensive inventories lost a lot of money, while those sitting on a pile of covered skins are absolutely thrilled by this change. Players who crafted their cheap covered skins into knives during the night and managed to sell them in time are also celebrating. Skin selling services, however, have temporarily stopped accepting knives altogether, so it's the perfect time to make a contract, an overpriced one, since covered skins are now way more expensive. Take a look at my first attempt and the knife I got from it, a Falcon knife Autotronic, not the worst outcome you could get from such a contract. I could have easily rolled Shadow Daggers, which would have been worth twice less. Considering the contract cost about $200, a knife worth $130 isn't terrible at all, especially given that opening $200 worth of cases usually gives you maybe $10 of value at best. Of course, a big question remains: what will this knife be worth a week from now, when I'm actually able to sell it? More? Less? No one knows. Anyway, it's time for my second contract. This one's from the Dreams and Nightmares collection, where we have a chance to pull an emerald butterfly knife. And honestly, that's the only one I want. The odds are tiny though, so I'll probably end up with some cheap garbage knife. But hey, that alone deserves your like. The total cost of these two contracts was around $400, which is quite a lot. So let's roll it, and we get absolute trash in the form of shadow daggers, bright water, which are somehow even cheaper than the Autotronic. It's been fun to take part in all this hype myself, but honestly I wouldn't recommend you try it, considering how much these contracts cost and how high the chances are of ending up with cheap junk worth a fraction of what you spent. This wasn't a double profit. These knives are worth about $100. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for watching until the end. This was Reveal. Don't forget to leave a like for these two completely pointless crafts. Good luck, see you all next time, and until the next damn video.